Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. This is B. Steve. So this evening, I'm going to talk about the home business use deduction. If I may ask, please be respectful in the comments. Please. Moving on. On every presentation, I would like to start off a warm-up exercise. Here is a question. Which of the following statements regarding the home office is correct? A. There is a dollar limit on what can be deducted annually. There is no limit as far as the home office is concerned. There is no cap. There is no dollar amount cap. B. The deduction is composed only of direct expenses such as the cost of painting the office. That's a false statement. The deductions are composed to direct and indirect expenses, which I'm going to go over in this presentation. D. A sole proprietor who uses home office only to schedule appointments, order supplies, and keep the books can never be claimed as deduction, which is a false statement because if you, for instance, I'm gonna use a YouTuber as an example. If you invite someone or set an appointment for someone to join your live stream, order supplies, meaning that you probably have to buy accessories or buy a new computer in order for you to maintain the business, or if you receive revenue from your YouTube, of course you're going to have a law to keep track of your expenses and income. So that's a false statement. Now the correct answer is C. There is an unlimited carryover of deductions in excess of the taxable income limit. Let's suppose on your YouTube you made $30,000, but you only spend $50,000 expenses. You can only write $50,000. You can write those expenses up to the $30,000, and the $20,000 overage, you can carry those expenses or losses to your 2022 tax return. Okay, so and you will have to put it, which is called the 8829, which I'm gonna try to do a separate presentation on how to fill that form out. Now, moving on, again, I'm going to probably have to remind you this again, the home office deduction. If a taxpayer uses a portion of his or her home to run a business-related expense, if a taxpayer uses a portion of his or her home to run a business-related expenses related to the home are deductible as a business expense. So you're going to have to fill out a 8829. Once again, I'm going to try and do a short presentation how to fill that form out. Now I'm going to go over the difference between indirect and direct expenses. Let's suppose that you use your basement as a home office to run your YouTube business, and you decide that you want to renovate that basement. The cost of the renovation you can write off entirely. You can write off the whole entire cost of the renovation. Now, as far as the indirect expenses are those that relate to the entire house, but only a portion can be deducted. Now, in order you to figure out the portion of it, you're going to have to come up with the percentage. And the only way to do that, what you're going to do is you're going to follow this equation here. So you're going to take the square footage of the office divided by the square footage of the entire home. So this 30% here, I'm using this as an example. So what you're going to do is you're going to take 30% of the rent, 30% of the mortgage, 30% of the real estate taxes, 30% of the utilities, and 30% of this here. I'm going to go over this again. So you're going to take 30% of the $12,000, which will be deducted for the rent that you can use on the 8829 or on a return. you can only take 30% of the $34,000 of the mortgage interest statement. You can only take 30% of the $6,000 from the real estate, 30% of this utility, which is the $20,000. You can't take the entire cost. You can only take 30% of that, and you can take 30% of this cable bill. Again, these are the total cost, but you can only take 30% of these. Now, I'm gonna go over this mortgage interest and the real estate taxes, because those of you who normally write their mortgage interest and your real estate taxes for those who own a home, you can take 30% on the 8829, but the remainder of it you can take it on your Schedule A. But I think I covered that when I did the Schedule A presentation, but you may want to go over that. Okay. The last thing what I'm going to talk about is the safe harbor rule. And with the safe harbor rule, it grants a standard deduction of $5 per square foot of the home used for business purposes, up to the maximum 300 square foot or $1,500 max deduction. Now, you only use the safe harbor method if you have a hard time trying to figure out the square footage of the entire house versus the square footage of the home office. Now, if you feel as though that you spent more than that, then I would try my best to work on this equation here. You probably have to figure out what the square footage of the home office versus the square footage of the entire home. Again, I will thank you for listening to my presentation. Again, please be respectful of the comments. And I thank you very much, and you stay safe. Bye-bye.